been saying this over and over again, but really, are we ready to welcome the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris? And are we ready to welcome our next vice president, Tim Walz? So am I. So am I. Think about this. Think about this. You know, when my grandfather crossed the Rio Grande to come to this country for a better life for his family, he had no idea that only 2 generations later, his granddaughter would be the first Latina ever elected to the United States. Si se puede. You know, that is the American dream, right? That's what Nevada families want for their children. And let me tell you, Kamala Harris, she understands that dream. And this is how I know. This is how I know. Vice President Harris and I met serving as attorneys general together. And I quickly learned what kind of person she is. As attorneys general, Kamala and I took on the big banks during the 2000 mortgage crisis, right? And I will tell you, after many phone calls and meetings with her leadership, we won $25 billion in retribution for working families across this country. So I know showing up for all Americans, that's Kamala Harris. That is absolutely Kamala Harris. And when Kamala led a group of attorneys general across the border to meet with our Mexican counterparts to address transnational crime, she made sure we also met with victims of human trafficking and sexual violence so that we could better understand what we were fighting for. Standing up for justice, that's Kamala Harris. And together, we started an information sharing program with Mexico that helped us prosecute transnational criminals, drug smugglers, and human traffickers at our southern border. Holding criminals accountable, that's Kamala Harris. So Las Vegas and Nevada, believe me when I say, Kamala Harris is a fighter for our working families, for good-paying jobs, and for our freedoms. As Vice President, Kamala Harris took historic action to invest in American technology, to upgrade our infrastructure and create thousands of clean energy jobs. And by the way, we're a proud union state here in Nevada, so those are good-paying union jobs. Those are good-paying union jobs, and Kamala Harris knows this because she also knows what our culinary knows, that one job should be enough. Should be enough. Right? Kamala Harris also knows that our families shouldn't have to choose between paying for their medication and putting food on the table. Right? That's why she worked to cap the cost of insulin at $35 per month. And it's why the Biden-Harris administration is forcing Big Pharma to negotiate lower prescription drug costs. Right? This is it. I don't have to tell you. Listen, we have made so much progress, but we're not done. We're not done. We know there's more work to be done. And as president, Kamala Harris will keep us moving forward toward a future where every American has every opportunity. A future where politicians aren't telling us what to do with our bodies. A future where we choose freedom. But you want to know who takes us backward? Donald Trump. And listen, how do we know this? Well, just read his party's, the right-wing MAGA manifesto, this Project 2025. Just read it. He wants to raise taxes on the middle class and give big tax breaks to his wealthy friends. He wants to line big pharma's pockets instead of reducing prescription drug costs for Americans across this country. He wants to cut Social Security and Medicare. Donald Trump's solutions, listen, he has no solutions, and that's his problem. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody who fought for this piece of legislation, he doesn't even want a solution to address what's happening at the southern border, because he tanked the strongest bipartisan border security bill we have ever had. He did it intentionally. He'd rather have this chaos. And you know what else? You know what else? Donald Trump and J.D. Vance think women shouldn't have control over their own bodies. Now, here in Nevada, we are a proud pro-choice state. But I'm here to tell you, and you all know this, there are politicians like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance who just don't care. They just don't care. And I'll tell you what, he may be lying about it now, but we know that Donald Trump would sign a national abortion ban into law if he got the chance. And we just cannot give him that chance. Right? So here's what we know. That's why we need to elect Democrats up and down the ballot here in Nevada, right? That's right. We need to win the majority in the House. We need to keep our majority in the Senate. And yes, we must win the White House. So listen, you saw them here today. We have to send Susie Lee, Dina Titus, Stephen Horsford back to the House, right? And we have to send my partner, Jackie Rosen, back to the Senate. And because we want more friends in Washington, we have to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as our next president and vice president. Now, Nevada, I'm going to leave you with one last thing. Last election, the Senate majority came down to 7,928 Nevada voters. With that number, we held the Senate, thanks to all of you. That's less than a 1% margin. But I am here to tell you, and you know this, it's a reminder that every vote counts. Every vote counts. So Nevada, are we going to make our votes count? Nevada, are we going to choose the prosecutor over the convicted felon? Nevada, are we going to deliver our state for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? And as my good friend Kamala Harris says, when we fight, all right, Nevada, thank you so much.